Well, hello, welcome. This is OneShortEye, and I'm going to be running Sanitarium any percent. Sanitarium is a horror point-and-click adventure game from 1998. So we're going to take half a second to appreciate this really creepy menu screen with the eyes following your cursor, the also creepy little children's voices as you hover over the different icons here, and we're going to go ahead and get started. So this game starts out in an insane asylum, as many of these games do. You wake up, you have no idea who you are, what you're doing, and you got to figure that out. So time is going to start on first movement, which will be in 3, 2, 1, go. So again, wake up in an insane asylum, have no idea who we are, got to get out. It is an adventure game, so we just need to grab a couple of items, actually really just one, the dirty roll rag that we just got there. Go by kind of a out-of-place, creepy angel statue up there, and then we need to swing like Indiana Jones down this kind of cable. Meet our friend Mr. No Pants Man down here. Stand a little bridge to get out of here later. And then we come to our first puzzle, which, if you're of a certain age, will be no problem. We have to hook up a VCR. Alright, still got it, huh? Now, unlike the VCRs that I had when I was a kid, this one actually gives you a special key that you can use to get out of the level. Say goodbye to Mr. No Pants Man. We only knew you for a brief moment, and it's time to get out of here. So one thing that you may have noticed, especially if you are used to point-and-click adventure games, is the controls in this are a little bit wonky in that instead of pointing at the ground, clicking on it and your character moving there, instead you have to hold the right mouse button down and kind of keep it held down and then point in the direction you want to go. It's really bizarre, something I've never seen before and haven't seen since. But it does let us abuse some mechanics in the game that we'll see in a second. So after escaping, instead of going where we thought we might, we get transported to this sort of Children of the Cornish town with creepy kids. And the first thing we need to do is figure out our name. And to do that, we have to have these little flashbacks. So all we need to do is talk to 3 kids. And one of the first things, we can get it there.
Return to game.
So one of the things that we can do with that weird walking mechanic is if we pause buffer and then go back into the game but hold down that right mouse button, you can walk during animations where you otherwise couldn't. So during that whole sort of cutscene there, normally you're not able to walk there, and we use that a number of times to save, well, time, because that's how these speedruns work. So we finally found out through these flashbacks that we're skipping past that our name is Max. And we need to ask her a couple of other things in order to progress, but all these creepy kids are here, and there are no adults around, which is also kind of weird. Again, kind of evoking a Children of the Corn sort of thing. So, as you might imagine, one of the logical things to do is that we need to play hide-and-go-seek with these kids. We get challenged. For some reason, we think that's a good idea. That's fine. And so one of the first big puzzles in the game is to find all of the kids who are now hidden. Get a crowbar, because hey, why not? What do you call a vegetarian horror movie that shares the name with the rock album, Children of the Corn? I like that. Alright. First kid's here, hiding in this barrel. And we have to wait for the kids to go back to the center of the town. Notice this fish here. One of the running gags throughout this game is red herrings. So that's a literal red herring. If you go in there, there's nothing in there. Your character sort of comments that, hey, there should be clues in here, but there aren't because it's a red herring. If you were wondering where the adults were, hey, they're in here and they're all dead. But clicking on their corpses means that we can do a little bit of a neat glitch here. Normally we cannot move over to the spot. You'll see a kid sort of pop in the middle of the town square there. So that saves us about a good 10-15 seconds because we're word to the spot normally. You have a signed copy of Children of the Corn. Nice. Here's our next kiddo. Another thing that we need to do here is grab a rock. Doesn't sound too obvious, but we need an item later, and so we're going to throw it at this bell tower. If you actually talk to the kid, you find out that this kid's fishing down at the wharf, not a wharf, it's a beach, and we need to steal his stuff because we're kind of rude like that. Costs the same in the secondhand store as the normal one, so of course you're getting the signed copy. That's really cool. Yeah, if there's no cost difference, makes sense to me. Alright, we have found all the children except for this one up here, so we're going to go grab him. Hide under the bed. Makes sense, right? And now we can walk back. One of the things that if you've played this game casually, you may notice we are walking a bit faster than normal. There's something that you can do in the settings that's a little weird, but one of the common complaints of this game is that your character walks extremely slowly. But there's a way to sort of mitigate that. Now, we tell the ringleader that we found everybody, but he doesn't believe us. So we've got to go find their secret weapon. So where do you think we could possibly find that? Well, let's head back here to the cemetery. And do a little digging.
Oh my god. This decayed child must be Carol, Dennis's secret weapon.
No, not entirely. It's not there. Yes. The secret weapon was the corpse of that child. Lovely game. So yeah, he's pretty pissed off that we figured it out, but we finally get what we did all that nonsense for, the key to this store over here. And before we go in there, of course, we're gonna go ride this pig, because why not? Might as well have a little fun in the creepy town, right?
Ouch!
Because we need the pig. And all that trouble of going through the hide and go seek sequence is to get that empty gas can. Hooray. Use the spring pig to jump over here. He's unusually happy. And we need to go put in a combination here. The combination is 451. I'll see if you and Chet can figure out why that is. You were paying really close attention. You could have figured it out.
Well, this old...
I'll let you discuss that.
Uh-oh.
But now we have one of the game's few arcade sequences. They tried to spice up the adventure genre a little bit by adding in these little sort of mini sections with combat. And here we've got to go in and kill some crows in this creepy pumpkin patch. One of the things that's annoying about this version is that there seems to be a bugged crow that will always hit you and you can't escape. And we're doing okay here. But we've already taken 2 hits. We can only take 1 more before we die. And I say die in quotation marks. It's not really death. We'll see if we can avoid that. Alright. Here we get to see what happens. So, apparently the developers thought it was too cruel to have you die, so they just send you back to the beginning of the pumpkin patch. This little mini-boss up here is invincible until you destroy all of these pumpkins. So, obviously if you can destroy all of these without getting hit the 3rd time, it's ideal, but it's a bit difficult. Alright, 1 more. Back off, buddy.
Damn, it keeps coming.
Sometimes it can be a little wonky. There's a lot of mechanics in this game that are a little bit either broken or weird. Alright, we got him.
I guess he thought it was better to
1 death patch, not too terrible. As someone who's grown pumpkins this year, the amount of pumpkin vines of pumpkins is 100% accurate. That's good to know. So if you were wondering where all the adults went, Basically, this asteroid came and brought this vile creature, and it killed everybody.
If you're as
And this is Mother. Calls herself Mother. So we have a little argument. Of course, that doesn't really go too well. We get thrown out, and we get a wrench out of it. That's kind of cool. Instead of having to go back through the pumpkin patch, you can put this wooden plank down. A lot of people don't find that casually. If there was a way to put that down from the other side, I think you could probably skip that entire arcade sequence, which would be pretty cool. I have not figured out a way to do it, though. Alright, time to siphon some gasoline, because, you know, that's what you do. Your entire front garden was covered in vines, and you only grew 2 of them. That's pretty bad. The only one you're cultivating is ripened. You had to take it into the house to ripen as it was starting to become too cold during the nights. Sounds complicated. Alright, open up a gas tank. And we've got to put the hose here. And we've got to put a little gas can. And we get some gas. Looks like it'll be ready a day before Halloween. Well, at least it's not a day after. We are almost done with this chapter. The only thing left to do is to take care of Mother, basically. We need to get rid of her because, well, she's kind of a huge monster beast, really.
a metallic?
Come on. Get over there.
Metallic?
Oh yeah, we need to fish it out. That's the whole reason we got the fishing rod.
Yes.
I tend to forget that sometimes. End up going back over without grabbing it. It's kind of annoying. And so we use all of our inventory items to go ahead and fry this beast. So let's do that. Good generator needs some gasoline. Need to steal a cable in this tractor. Come on, you can do it. Boop, boop, boop.
Jumper, metallic.
Yeah, jumper cables. So, hook the generator up to the asteroid. And, hey, why don't we just turn it on and see what happens? And that's what we want. Siphoning the fuel from somewhere, then nicking a belt. Yep. It's an adventure game. We steal everything that's not nailed down.
There.
And that's it. Now we're gonna go up here, not get stuck. It's very easy to get stuck on walls in this game. And hope we don't soft lock. Come on. Oh, dude. Thank goodness. I've managed to soft lock on just about, I think, half the levels in this game. That's one of the places you can get soft locked. For no reason.
Yes, but
Alright, we go back now to the real world, maybe? To the courtyard and the chapel. So this is outside of the wing of the asylum that we escaped. And we have no idea how we got from that pumpkin patch place, Children of the Corn, to here.
It's me, Morgan. I'm right here.
Understandably confused. And there's a bunch of asylum patients here that you can talk to. They're interesting. This guy thinks that he's Elvis, for instance. And why don't we stop this really annoying music and substitute it with some other really annoying music.
a record.
I grab this record. Boom, boom. Notice this guy has another red herring over here. More red herring jokes. And, hey, guy in a dancing tutu, but he was sitting on a key that we need. So, hey, why not? Mr. Morgan, does he run an old British car company? Not that I know of. Come on. I was reading a dev diary of this the other day. One of the things they mentioned is that they regretted that they built this so that your character could only move in 8 directions. They wanted, like, more, I guess, planes of movement. I don't know if that's the right phrasing. But it means that it's very easy to get stuck on walls. But once they figured out that that was an issue, it was kind of too late to change it. So, hence you can only move up, down, left, right, and then along the diagonals. All right, we're going to try to do a glitch here that should save us a fair amount of time.
Whoa.
Movement planes or planes of movement, they both work. That's good to know. I often don't know terminology correctly. So, go here. This is Bob. We're in the Church of Bob.
You seem...
Desecrated. Symbol. So he asks us to find a symbol, and we tell him, hey, we found it already. So now we're going to try to do this movement glitch, and messed it up. That's okay. This is really exquisite architecture wasted on a mental hospital. I would totally agree with you.
Thanks.
Most likely Victorian, reused in an unused church. Yeah, probably. One of the cool things about this is if you look at like the window panes on there, or the stained glass, it actually kind of gives a hint to the next section of the game. So, got to do a little bit of a water puzzle here. Hope that this works perfect. Alright, so we're moving during the cutscene here. Trying to get up the stairs. That it can help if you do. But it's really kind of touchy.
It looks so
there we go.
nicer when it's filled.
We got one of the movement glitches. Alright. And then we get turned into a little girl and sent to the creepiest circus ever. These puzzle rules are old as time. You can remember an old PS1 game which was only those kinds of puzzles. Yeah. It seems like there's those kind of water puzzles in a lot of games.
What's happening to me?
Hey, we're a little girl now. Why not? And we're in this really creepy circus. Because why not? Horror games need creepy circuses. Alright. Talk to the ringmaster here. Let's see if we can pull this off. Nope, it's okay. Sometimes you can save a few seconds there, but no big deal. Water or electric. Yeah, piping puzzle, totally. So the only thing we need to do over here for the moment is to ask about tattoos, because that's really appropriate for a little girl. What are you asking about? Hey, Mike, what's going on? Spoopy, exactly. Alright, but we need to know that there's a tattoo parlor there. So next is really the only RNG part of the game, so if you've got your bless RNGs or other RNG related emotes in chat, bust those out. Well, can we get some ink, son? Yep. So we've got basically to play these arcade games, and we've got to win 10 tickets. And there's about a 75% chance of winning this game each time you play it. And if you lose your tickets, it's just really a pain to get them back. Sweet, okay. That's better. Alright. Now we can do this. The only other game we have to play here is this knockdown game, because we need the bowling pin. Alright, Sarah, do it.
Oh, poo.
Yep. Let's try this again. This section is one of the reasons that I put the estimate as I did, because this can take, if your RNG isn't great, take a little while. There we go, it's better than nothing. Didn't she get 3 shots, not 1? In a fair world? Yes. But this is Sanitarium. Hit the bowling pin. Okay, how many tickets do we have? 8, okay. You know what? Let's take care of this now. Alright. That's the scary aspect, indeed. Do it, do it. Sweet. Alright, that was not bad RNG. Okay. When you were in a town, a little fair was there, so you just decided to give the can to Albertino. Alright. Gotta talk to this kid, find out that the strong man in the tent that we're about to go to has a crush on the fire breather. And oop. Alright, is the clown gonna be good to us or not? This is the other RNG part. Most of this platform... Alright, he's blocking us. Bad clown. Roll clown. So, most of the time he blocks your way. Some of the time, he's up at the top. And if he is, you can just run past him. But, if he's where he is there, you gotta go all the way around. And as far as I can determine, there is no rhyme or reason to his position. He just moves randomly. And I'm hoping that we got all the dialogue we need. I actually have a feeling we didn't. Oh, good. No, we got it. Boom's afraid. So, hey, we tell him that to prove his love, he's got to go get a tattoo, because that's sound relationship advice. Just, you know, go get a tattoo of your crush. Give this guy the bowling pin to exchange it for a red ball that we need later. If you hold escape there, he actually despawns. I've had that happen once, and then that's... you can't finish the game. That's fun. And she agrees to teach us how to breathe fire. The only thing that we need to do is go find her some more fuel, some rubbing alcohol. Why is the circus master in a pagan symbol? You tell me. If you click on the bottles around this circus too, by the way, she will kind of hold her nose and say, ew, vodka. I don't know how a 6-year-old little girl knows what vodka is, but we can only guess. Maybe he's a witch. Possibly. Alright, so now we can go grab some fuel. Oh, my apologies. She's not 6, she's 8.5, she says. Dude, she's getting tats and slamming vodka. Indeed she is. Alright, so we're good here. We have the tickets that we need. We need to go to the Freak Beach, and that's here. Give up our tickets. She's salty spittoon material. And yet, I guess she is kind of a full... We're not going to talk about that. That's okay. Alright, we got to free this guy. Mr. Wolfman. Come on, buddy. You can get on out of here.
Ow!
Ow. And move on through the creepy circus.
This.
Okay.
Oh.
Can't do that, so we need to oil it up.
Maybe I'll try.
Come
Should
on.
I?
Hitbox is kind of weird there.
Whee!
Alright, so she's so happy about this. I don't know, I would be this happy about a broken down,
Whee!
weird old carousel.
Uh-oh.
You broke it.
Oh, poo.
Too bad. Alright. Normally, we're not tall enough to go in here, but since we have... Come on. Since we have this guy's nose that was stolen, he's happy now, and he'll kind of magically change our height so that we're allowed to go in here. Come on. Into the funhouse. And out the other end. I kind of wish you had to talk to this guy. He's really creepy. You don't have to. Okay, thank goodness you can get by. I always worry about someday I'm going to do that, and he's going to be in a position where I can't make it through. I don't know. I'm not going to put it past the game. Again, I found, like, on half the levels, places where it just soft locks, and you're out of luck. We got our fortune told there, and the only really reason to do that is to get transported back, and we know what we need to do in order to get out of the level. I don't need to do that, just need to talk to her. And we have your fuel. rubbing alcohol, so now we can learn how to spit fire. Alright, and let's just double check. Yep, we got everything we need to leave. And hope for a good clown position. I'm going to try it for a second, see if he moves. Nope. He's going to be trolling me on both ends of it. I've tried testing that out, and it seems like you can sit there for a good 10 seconds and he'll move. You could sit there for 5 minutes and he'll just stay there. Wish there was a way to manipulate that. And of course, by the time that you're all the way around, maybe he's in a better position. But you just don't know. See, there I would have been able to slip through. But there's no way of knowing that. Alright. I'm going to go in the spooky hole. Into the cave. This is another short arcade sequence. Boop. Gotta light up our fire here. We need to protect ourselves. There is a squid monster here. That's, if you noticed in the last level, there were bodies that were floating in the water, and there's skulls up here. It's this squid monster that is the reason for that. So we've got to avoid the falling stalactites, yes. And we've got to blow fire on this guy here. Actually not doing too bad here. Alright, as long as we don't hit one more time. Alright, we're good. So, we get another little mini boss. This one, I think, not as well thought out as the other. You'd think that there's some really complicated thing that you have to do here. Really, you just have to spam left click. And that's it. That's the boss.
See you in hell, freak.
I love the way that she says that. And now we're into the spooky old house. There is a sort of a binoculars on the last level, and if you look through them, you'll see this spooky old mansion. We didn't really get a chance to do that, of course, but here we are. Moving walls. Also ghosts. Good times. Come on. In we go. Even more creepiness. But we've played the game before. We know where we're going. Up the stairs. Past the walls that are bleeding. I can actually tell you that too, by the way.
Oh my god, the walls are bleeding.
Get past a little ghost conversation. And we grabbed the key for the clock. Thanks for the tip, Sarah. So there's a room we need to get into. In order to get there, we need to convince the ghost that it is dinner time. So he comes out. There was a cutscene that we skipped down here, and it lets us know that dinner time is 6 o'clock. So, hey, I'm going to set the clock to 6.
The clock.
6 o'clock. If we start moving, another one of those moving during cutscenes you're not supposed to. We gotta kind of do a dance around the door. If you get too close to the door, you get stuck, and the animation repeats itself. Doesn't really save any time. That was one of the first glitches I found, actually. Kind of a fun one. It's kind of easy. You have like a full second of movement before the animation takes over. So as long as you're moving when that starts, you can just move anywhere you want in the house. And now that we have that key, another key as well as a videotape. Let's go watch the videotape. I mean, you and I aren't going to watch it. We're going to skip past it. But Sarah's going to, and that's all that matters.
Here's the...
And we learned a little bit about something going on in the attic, so why don't we go to the attic? What we learned from watching that videotape is that there is another key
What a mess.
in this bear over here.
Hey,
Kind of this whole area is full of keys. Another part where she's probably more excited than she should be.
wee.
I don't know if I'd be that excited if I was in this house. We'll go in and find a doll. So the little ghost boy tells us that we found it. You know how ghosts are always asking you to find things? Go on little fetch quests? Well, in this case, it was a doll. And now we've got to hurry back. And put the doll back in its proper place. Come on in here. So, what we find out, and it's not too big of a spoiler, kind of minor one, I guess, but you can't avoid it watching this. So it turns out that Sarah was actually Max's sister who died in a childhood illness, and we always felt guilty about not finding her favorite toy before she passed away, so sort of a flashback.
Don't worry. I'll watch over him.
And as we've done before, we kind of come back to the real world, maybe? And in this case, we are now in the laboratory level. Every horror game ought to have some sort of creepy laboratory level. To get in there, we need to solve a puzzle, as you do. And the puzzle we need to solve is kind of an odd one. In that, so the way it works is that you're supposed to turn around a circle, like a metal circle, and then every so often flip a switch, and it'll flip some of the prongs of it. It's this thing over here. And you need to release all of them in order to make this ball fall down and open things up. Come on, get over here. Now, I'm sure the developers intended something more complicated than this, but if you want to count with me to 8, chat, that's all we need to do. Oh wait, here we go. We actually need to turn it on first. Creepy Mansion, Creepy Lab, Creepy Circus, exactly. And now that we power the darn thing, it's weird. Like, if you look at walkthroughs, they'll tell you weird things like you gotta turn it 4 times and then hit it once, and etc. Now all you gotta do is count to 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Boom, done. Not quite sure that's what the devs intended you to be able to do. So now that we've opened that up, hey, we get into the creepy body-filled laboratory. And we gotta do some chalkboard puzzles. What you have to do here is look at these chalkboards, click on the first letter of each sentence, and unscramble some words. Now, it doesn't sort of look like it, but to actually move all of these letters around once you get them to the bottom, there's like a really slow animation. So if you know what the words are, it's a lot faster to just go to where it is. So this one is... oh, here we go. U and H. Where's the other H? There we go. Yeah, so imagine trying to unscramble all those at the bottom.
I search in vain for the elusive solution to this.
And for whatever reason, the animation for that
Evading me the way a mouse does a cat.
just really
Its
slow.
insanity
So you don't want to
remains
do that.
me. Darting from flesh to muscle, muscle to bone, and back again to the fortress of the mind. This evil seems always to maintain one step ahead of me. How can I...
So now that we have all the words, we can come over here and unscramble all the words to put in a password. So it's youth hides the key to salvation. And we can get out of here. And now we get turned into one of Max's childhood comic book heroes, Grimwall the Cyclops. And now we're playing in kind of this bug-infested alien world.
Return to game.
See? This is one of the more bizarre stages, as if the ones we've seen so far aren't bizarre enough. One of the good things, though, is this guy actually walks faster. We need to do that to find out that we can't get in. And there's all these, like, creepy alien pods and bugs. This is the only other Cyclops that's here, at least for now. Gotta talk to this guy. Ask him about his upgrade. Okay, good. It is kind of like Goro, isn't it? Alright. Gotta grab some tools. And a big old sledgehammer, because why not? As if we don't look strong enough. So what we quickly find is that things aren't all what they seem. They are actually, these bugs, taking Cyclops babies and putting them into this giant furnace. So, hey, that's pretty evil. Let's stop that. First thing we gotta do, get these over here, use these bellows, and we kill the main operator of this. And now we have a very sort of goofball puzzle we have to do. Once you figure out the interface, it's not bad. You're just pattern matching, and you'll see what I do here. But figuring out what each of the buttons does is kind of super weird. So, give me just a moment here, and we'll have this done. So some of these will like change colors, and that will change what the patterns are. It's just really weird. But once you get a hang of what you're doing and what the wings do, you're really just trying to match the patterns up. Okay, that's that. Oop. One more. And there. There we go. And now we have shut off the furnace so that no more Cyclops baby genocide can take place. Alright. Now that that's shut down, this guy appears here. We've got to ask him about getting authorization to upgrade our ID harness. We're basically sort of faking the fact that we're not a bug because we need to get into some high security areas. Come on. And upgrade. Alright. They also asked that we prove our age. We need to be, I think, like 800 years old. So we grabbed that part of a bug carcass in order to demonstrate our age. So now we've got an upgraded harness. We can go into the high security area. And what we're doing is looking for proof of this genocide that's happening. And hey, we've got it because there are Cyclops babies here. We're going to take one. Come back down. Show the proof to our friend over here. He thinks that the bugs are on the up and up. They're not. I got the proof that you didn't really ask for because we skipped that dialogue option. But hey, why not? Alright. Asking for the code. We're going to try for a skip here. See if we get it. Cross our fingers.
What are...
Turn to game.
Sweet, we got it. So what happens is that guy, I think he has code
Aha!
in order to despawn once he stops after he walks for like 30 seconds across the map. And if you move and get in front of him, he'll stop moving. So doing that little glitch, getting in front of him, despawning saves a good... It feels like 30 seconds, it's probably more like 15. Oh, your internet went down for 20 minutes. Sorry to hear that. You, missed a lot of game. We're in Bugland now. So, we use this sound generator to go in here. We need to solve a little bit of a music puzzle. So let's do that. This is a little loud. Highly musical. Good point, King. Yeah.
A piece of...
It's the one part of... I think that the pop-out puzzles are bugged because no matter what sound setting I put that at, doesn't seem to make a difference. Alright, back into the orifice.
No.
Should have had the compressor squish it even more. Ah.
Huh?
Hey, fair enough. We're doing what we can here.
A piece of machinery.
Do. So we got this piece of machinery. Yeah, the piece of machinery that guy wanted.
This is...
And gonna let us go here. There's one more thing we need to find in order to leave here, and that's back up here. A little annoying you have to use this sound generator every time that you go back in, but
Even
oh wait, got this one. And what we find is that the sort of the Cyclops ambassador to the bugs has been selling us out. He's this guy. And this big thing that looked like a column before, actually the big bug alien queen. So he's kind of announcing to the bugs that they're going to take over and kill all the Cyclops people. So we got to stop that by unplugging this. I guess that's how that works. And in the cutscene that we're skipping, we kind of blow everything to hell, so... Yay, no more bugs. And so logically, we end up in a morgue. Unplug, no, we unbug it. Good point. This is a short one. One of my... I like how well contained this area is. Just in the sense there's not a lot of backtracking. And it's kind of creepy too, kind of cool. So hey, wake up in a morgue. Why not? This corpse warns us about something. Whatever. Who cares about that? We gotta solve a little gear puzzle. So basically you bring this gear up, hit it in the direction you want to go, and it moves one of the other gears. And once you do all that, you can get out of here. Boom. Yes? Okay. I always worry about that the game's going to crash, because it has done that occasionally. Alright, gotta skip this cutscene, grab a couple of things. Urn, matches, and a bust.
Yes.
There you go. We smell some gas because it's also a crematorium here. Turn the gas on. That's going to be necessary. Come on now. Grab a tool for later. And then, gotta operate this. I don't know how we're supposed to know we need body number 7, but hey, we do. So let's cremate it.
Ugh.
Alright. There's a glass eye that we get out of here,
A gold-
as well as some ashes. So we need those as well. Leave that alone for now. We can't get back into the room until we fix the heating because it's frozen shut. So, little pipe action here.
That ought to do.
And back in. Come on.
Feels much warmer in here.
So, there is actually something written on the inside of where we were. We used some matches to get it.
Wait a second.
There are scratches, but we can't read them. The reason we can't read them is apparently because
Brass earth.
we don't have the glass eye. So let's use the glass eye. We can read it. And now we can leave. And let's make sure that closes. Good. One thing that you can't hear because I have ambient sounds turned off is, and it's kind of, I don't know, disturbing / darkly funny. There is another person who is in,
The ashes show.
Return to game.
who's in the morgue. And what you're supposed to do is let him out, and he gives you a clue to a puzzle. But because we know the solution already, we can just sort of leave him there forever.
Freedom. One.
You're kind of a jerk sometimes.
In the
Alright, we'd have a long conversation with a tree, and if you were really paying attention, you'd know that that tree was also in the chapter with the fountain in the middle, with the record player.
Yes.
Alright, go in.
Well, Max,
This is Dr. Morgan, the
Damn you.
villain that we haven't talked to. And we just solve a little puzzle. What you're supposed to do, of course, is to read a whole bunch of stuff that is littered throughout the level to know which symbols to put where. But if you played it enough, you can just match the symbols because you know what you're doing. Only take a moment. And mountain. And that's it.
Yes.
And now we get transformed. It sort of makes sense in the plot. Kind of. But we get transported to an Aztec village where we are the Aztec god Olmec. This gets weirder and weirder. And in this village, we've been summoned because another evil Aztec god has been killing everybody in this village, and it's our job to come and try to set things right. But the first thing we need to do is to talk to a whole bunch of Aztec warrior ghosts and learn their names because we need that for a puzzle later. And they kind of phase in and out of existence, so sometimes you time it a little oddly.
What?
Alright. We just have to learn their names. What you're sort of supposed to do is also figure out who's related to who and in what birth order, because that's important. But if you know the solution, you don't need to do that. Little sacrificial altar.
This. What? Is this?
And we just need to learn from this guy. Pod,
What?
yep.
What?
That there's a magical pod on the tree over there that we need to reach,
Right.
but we can't because it's surrounded by lava. So there's some special rite that we need to do. I want to talk to this guy, make sure we got, okay, we got his name. All right. Gonna head up here. This is the evil bad guy who's been killing everybody. We could talk to him and get a neat little cutscene, but we don't need to. Now this does not let us get the pod on the tree, but it does harden the lava instantly so we can go across the water. And this guy's... Oh, you know what? Let's just wait for him. There we go. He's cycled back in pretty fast.
What?
Name. Okay. Solve a little puzzle.
Images.
This is... hold on. Everyone. There we go. And now we get our very last instance of that red herring running gag. It's right there. He just calls it a ruby fish. And if you examine it, it says something like, you know, this has to be important. No, it's a red herring. Literally. Thank you, game. You're making dad jokes.
What?
Alright, last warrior ghost. Find his name. And we also need to talk to him about his wife. Because he is guarding this totem and won't let us past unless we get him a necklace for his wife. I guess he couldn't have been bothered to get it himself. Whatever. We head into the village. There are only women here and one last able-bodied man, but he's not fighting for some reason. And he accuses us of being late. We put him in his place. Yeah, we ask about his daughter. And then only then can you get the option to ask him to make a necklace for you. And that's what we need to tell this ghost over here in order to get him to move the heck out of the way. Also, these pebble crunching sounds are the loudest I've ever heard in any game. Really annoying compared to anything else. Alright, now that he's gone, we can push this over. And one of the things that you learn if you actually talk to the guy over there is that his daughter, he thinks his daughter's dead. No, she's not dead. He's just lazy, didn't bother checking up here. We find his daughter, return her. And for some reason, that is one of the tests that we need to pass in order to gain access to the right in order to get the seed pod. So there's that. Now we just need to pass a test that we know all of the warriors' name, that we know all of the names of everybody, and put them in order of youngest to oldest. And if you know them like I do, you can just do it like that. So we get a spell. Wait. And only now can we walk in the lava. Go ahead and grab her. And for some reason, this old guy over here needs it. I guess it, I don't know, helps him power up or something. Because what happens is you tell him that you have it. And then he drinks out of it.
This must be the...
And he drinks it and then goes off to fight the main bad guy. But he gets his ass handed to him. Because he's a mortal fighting a god, I guess. Yeah, he dies. But from that, somehow we learn that there is a death mask that is underneath this village. And if we get that, we can defeat the evil Aztec god. Need to come in here, grab this crystal heart. I don't know what this guy was doing with it. Cool. And we just need to solve a couple more of these temples. Here, there's sort of a musical puzzle, kind of. What you have to do is there's some gongs in here, and you have to ring them in order of biggest to smallest. I did steal his heart. I'm sorry. Alright. That's enough for the wind totem. And now we just need the jaguar totem. So for this puzzle, on the way up the stairs, check out the symbols that line the side of it. These here, that's the solution to a puzzle later. Alright, so we need to give some human blood and then some not human blood. I guess the crystal heart works. Alright, so now we just need to do these symbols correctly. Let's go one past the fishy. And now we've got all the totems. What that does is it opens up this little hidden passageway that goes under the village to a maze that we need to go through in order to get the final item that we need, which is the death mask of the evil god. But these are where they need to go.
The wind totem.
Yep. And down we go. This is a short level. Little Aztec maze. There's some purple lightning that you'll see all around here. The only thing to know about that is if you step on it, it sends you back to the beginning. Sometimes you want that to happen. Most of the time you don't. I get a little twisty-turny here. As you would expect in a maze, there are a lot of false turns, a lot of areas where you don't really get trapped, but pieces of the maze will fall down and you need to backtrack. There's actually a whole back section to the maze that you can go to, but there's nothing there. Nothing to really do with it. And here's an area where it helps to go in the pink lightning because we want to go back over here to this little guy who's doing the touchdown signal. That's going to open up this. And away we go. Come on. Gotta avoid this pink lightning. And gotta go down. White lightning. I'll take your word on that one, King. Alright, that's gonna lower that grate. And the only other thing we need to do... It's kind of difficult to get first try, because the hitbox is so small for some reason. Got to put that down. Otherwise the gate doesn't lock in place. Alright, death masks of Quetzalcoatl. Put that on. There's an epic battle that we skip because we can hit escape and skip cutscenes. And now we're into one of the weirdest levels in the game, the Gauntlet, where everything kind of comes together. Without spoiling too much of it, we find out that the whole game has been in our head and we are all of these different personas and we've got to try to put everything back together and come back to reality. And what's neat here is you can turn into any of the 3 personas that you've been throughout the game. So here we just got to match up some pumpkin lights. What's neat is that elements from the entire game come back together from all the different levels. And like you get parts of the little creepy village with the children. You get parts of the circus, parts of the Aztec, parts of the bug level. Oh. There's that. And you have to keep switching between these because there's different pros and cons to them. For instance, you with your feet here can't walk on the thorns, but Olmec can because he's made of stone. If you need to get into tight spots, you become Sarah. If you need to do strongman stuff, you go here. We're going to do that. This lights up some colors.
Got it.
And those are the colors we need to enact in this mouth here. So, here. Red. Red. Yellow. Green. Blue. Kind of Roy G. Biv, but with a lot of colors missing.
The clown.
Okay, back to Sarah. The hills have eyes. I guess they do. So now here's a callback to the very first stage of the game. If you remember, there was a big statue of an angel that took us out of the initial stage. We got to rebuild that statue here because it's in pieces everywhere.
Uh-huh.
So again, bug stage. X-Line, yes, that clown is scary.
The disruptor.
Alright, another instance where Sarah is useful because now we can jump into here, pop back up out here. Oop. No, need him. Because we're on the thorns here. Gotta be able to not get our feet hurt, I suppose. This will drop the angel wing down. Or is it the torso? I can't remember. Back in. And now we can grab this piece here. You want to be Grimwall as much as possible because he moves the fastest. And now over to kind of the Aztec area. You have to step on these different plates. I don't know if there's a way to figure it out besides trial and error. I don't know if there's any hints in the game to do this, but we gotta do it. There's that. That thing goes away. Push that out of the way. And the wing comes up encased in that. And in order to break it, this is kind of disturbing, we need to push all these sacrifices down. Their wailing increases until the sound becomes so great that the crystal shatters. Oh, causing people pain. Fun. Now we should have all the pieces of the angelic statue.
Right torso. Better. The head
And
of the
put it all back together, and we can exit this. So, nope.
Return to game.
Now that that's open, the portal to the last stage is open, so we've got maybe a minute or two left in the game. This last stage goes really quickly. And to explain it before we get there, basically you face your doppelganger, and you have to sort of match his movements to smash some crystals, not get caught in some oil that is sort of reappearing and disappearing, and then get out of our coma, basically, because we've been in a coma this whole game. I'll let you know time, but time is when you smash the last crystal. And I don't know what time we're at here. I tried to overestimate time because a lot of things can go really wrong, especially the RNG. Sometimes the game can inexplicably crash. So we might be way ahead in time, I don't know.
You have no more.
Sometimes things go very wrong, though. Alright. 3 and time. There we go. That's game. So that was Sanitarium. Hope you enjoyed it. And from there, 102. Okay, perfect. Maybe we watch this for half a second. 102.26. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you. This will take like a minute.
Lost to your unborn child.
Thank you for the GG.
It's over.
I'm back. It's over.
Thanks, Mike.
Head of the Mercy Drug Corporation.
And then in the end, I don't know how well you're going to be able to hear it, but there's this really goofy, like, end credit song where they take sound samples from all the different characters in the game. We can listen to it for a minute.
The man
maybe.
who discovered the DNA V cure had no comment.
The trial of Dr. Jacob Morgan.
Oh, hold on. Oh, I stopped it on
Return to
accident.
game.
Oh well. Oh, can I return to it or
Return to
not?
game.
No. Oh well, we skipped it on accident. Whatever. We don't get to see it. But thank you for watching. I had a lot of fun with this. Thank you to all the runners and everyone who helped put this on. This was just a lot of fun, and that's really it for me. Thanks, guys. Stay spooky.